Oh man. Welcome back, guys. This is Legit Lee back again with another video for you. Today I'm showing you guys something amazing, and it has to do with lighting. If you're new to my channel, I do DIY projects and 3D printing and 3D designing. Usually my DIY projects are tech based, so if you like any of those things, consider subscribing. Anyway, today I'm showing you guys how I am doing a lighting project for 3D printing and videography. So if you're into making videos or are into content creation, this light would actually benefit a lot of different people. And the reason why that is because of the C.R.I. rating. Basically, every light out here has a rating for the color rendering index, and that's what C.R.I. stands for. And what a C.R.I. is basically the closest matching of real colors that the sun can produce as well. So basically the sun produces all natural light, and that light is actually the true color of whatever it is viewing. So a lot of lights out here, like some LEDs and manufacturers have these type of lights that are nice, but they give off a bad color rating. It could be like leaning towards more of like a magenta color or a more satin finish. It can look kind of bad and mess up your videos, so make it 2 times harder for you to color grade in post. But there are some lights out here that are kind of expensive to get, like the leading company Aperture. They have these nice lights that you can get. They're super bright, high C.R.I. ratings, but they're very, very expensive. You're looking anywhere from $100 to $100 plus for any of their lights, basically, if you're getting something that's high quality from them, basically. And so I watched a lot of videos on the C.R.I. information, and I do watch this person on YouTube. His name is Matty. He does DIY projects. His name for his channel is DIY Perks. And he does a lot of lighting stuff for his YouTube setup and studio. So he'll do videos on all these lights, and we'll talk about the C.R.I. rating. So I finally got around to buying me a packet of them. And they're not as big as I would have thought, but it's to be expected because they're very high quality. And they're expensive too, nonetheless. They're about $39 here in the US that I bought them from somebody off of eBay. Now, prices will vary in your country, so take that into consideration. You can buy them from China. Would probably run you about $30 to $45-ish, around there. I would say 20 to 35. Let's just put it like that, depending on what you're getting. And these lights that I purchased, though, they are 5600 Kelvin, and what that is the amount of light that it actually produces. It's actually natural light, like the sun. That's pretty much what I have my YouTube set up as of right now. I only like natural sunlight. I don't do too much warm light unless I'm trying to set a mood or something of that sort. And what warm light is anywhere from 20,000 to 30,000 Kelvin. And then there's cool light, which is like a bluish color tint to it, and that's anything past 56, so you'll be at like 6,000 to 7,000 Kelvin. Anything higher, start getting to like a purple color for your lights, and that definitely wouldn't work for your setup unless you needed purple lights for some reason. But I tend to stick around 5,000 to 56,000 Kelvin for my lighting. And these right here are really nice. I 3D printed this whole case, and it's about 220 millimeters long and then 140 millimeters high. And I have a piece of plexiglass on the front of it to actually hold some gels. So say I do want to change up the color, I can just place a gel on the front of it, or some kind of light diffusion like this little piece of cloth right here to help diffuse the light so it won't look so harsh, because sometimes when you are setting up a studio or setting up lighting, the light can kind of like just stay in one area. I mean, your other areas will look really nice, but the one area can kind of blow out and just make it look too bright. So you would add some diffusion or diffusion paper, some kind of fusion diffusion material that actually will helps soften the light so it won't be as harsh on like your face or the subject that you're trying to view. So I put that in there just for that. And on the back here we have a nice little setup. So usually when people are making lights, they tend to use pulse width modulation. And what that is PWM for their signal. It's basically an on and off of a switch. And I don't like using that because a lot of people don't. If they know anything about video making, it's bad for videos because depending on how you have your shutter speed for your DSLR or regular video camera, you may wind up seeing flickering inside of the lights that you have. And that's because the lens in your camera can capture those pulses of power going on and off to the LEDs. So to compensate, instead of doing that, we can just get a regular voltage adjuster. And most of the time they're really cheap and very affordable. So right now I have this nice one. It's rated for about, I think, 8 amps if I'm not mistaken. It has a little potentiometer. It's blue that can adjust the actual amps coming out of to the system that you're trying to run. And a voltage adjuster as well, so you can adjust the voltage that comes in and out of it. I have the power supply right here, and I soldered on the back ends of the power supply to attach this potentiometer for the top right here. I will be 3D printing me a knob. I just haven't gotten around to getting that part set up just yet. But they're super easy to make. It was probably like 30 minutes tops to print one out. So I have a potentiometer. This is a 10K potentiometer. I don't have a free resistor in line with it or anything. I know some people do to help with the resistance and the amperage going through, but since I already have an amp adjuster, I didn't really see the point. So all I did was solder 2 wires off of the potentiometer to the back of the blue potentiometer on the power supply. And then we have a barrel jack connector right here. You can see it down to the bottom. There's a little hole. So you can plug up any regular DC power supply like this one right here. So this one is rated for rated for 12 volts at 2 amps. And so I can plug this one in if I wanted to. And I got really creative with it. So basically I have a power supply here. This is just a regular power bank as a battery bank for your smartphones. So you can turn it on just like a regular power bank would be. And I bought this other piece off of eBay. This is a 5 volt to 12 volt power adapter. So it plugs into a USB port on my battery bank here, and then it goes into a barrel jack that comes out as 12 volts instead. So I can plug in a wireless battery, and this will actually shine really well. It's just like having kind of like a flashlight, just a little bigger, or a spotlight. Or we can do a regular power supply, little power adapter here, or you can even use a regular power supply that you can get from a 3D printer, or even out of like a regular old DC computer, PC computer. And so I'm going to show you guys how the lights look. So we're going to start off with the lowest rating one. So basically the power bank will work, it won't be as bright because you're only running 5 volts off of a little battery here, so you can't expect much out of it, but it does a really good job. So we're going to plug this in. So I'm just going to plug this into the bottom right here and let you guys see that. So we plug that in, and watch, when I turn it on, you'll see a little green light right here at the inside on the power supply that I have on here. It will just tell you that it has power, and then it goes red when you're using power. So it kind of works out good because you'll know that it has power, and then on top of that, you'll know when you're starting to record that your light is even on because it shows off red too, just like when you hit a record button on your DSLR or your regular video camera. So if we turn it on, you can see the power is on here and on here. So I have a little flick switch that turns on the power to the lights, and there you have it. So it can run just fine without any problems, and it can adjust the voltage. I'm going to do that kind of off so it doesn't blind me. So I can bring it down if I wanted to, bring it up as much as I want, and won't be no flickering whatsoever because you're adjusting straight voltage. It won't be turning on and off. It's just, right now this is probably like 3 volts constant, And then if I turn it up, it'll go to like 5, 6, 7, whatever, all the way up to 12 volts, constant 12 volt power, no off whatsoever. Anyway, so it can get really bright, and I don't really want to blind you guys, so I'm just going to kind of blow out the bottom part of my body here so you guys can see that it's very, very bright, even with just this regular power bank here. And yeah, I kind of just blinded myself already. Let me just shut this off now. So yeah, the switch works just fine, and whatever you set the power to, it will stay at that as long as you flip the switch on and off. I'm going to turn it down so it doesn't blind me when I plug it up to the other supply. There we go. So shut it off, unplug it. And yes, this has a plexiglass too. I've kept the plexiglass on here on the back also, so if I ever had to take it off and work on it or something, I can do that without any issues. And so we got that tried out, and now we can go ahead and try out our regular power supply that you can get for pretty much everything nowadays. Has just a little 12 volt power supply you can get. Okay, plugging that in, and I got the cord. Go ahead and plug this into the bottom here as well, and there you go. You can see that there is light right there, and when we turn it on and bring up the voltage, the light turns. See how it turns red because we're using more power now. And this is not even that bright. Let's just bring it up a little bit. There we go. That's the brightest it will get with this one. Still super bright, and with some light diffusion on it, you know, you can kind of soften it up a little bit. It won't look as bad. See, not so bad at all. Let me just get that. I mean, I'm gonna wind up adding this to my plexiglass that I have on there, but really nice. Works out great. Doesn't destroy my whole side of my face too bad with the diffusion on there. Adding more diffusion will help with the harshness, so if I added more of this little material here, I can wind up softening it up really well. So now that we tried out a regular power bank and a regular DC power supply, we can go ahead and try a PC or a 3D printer's power supply. Now, if you get a 12, most 3D printers will have a 12 volt power supply in it, but some of them do have 24 volts, which it won't matter because with you already being able to adjust the voltage on this guy with this, it doesn't matter as long as you don't go too bright where you're burning and blowing out your lights. So take that into caution. These are only really rated for 12. Really, I would say 14 because you can use these for a car, and the car generates 14 volts really of electricity through the alternator. So I would say really I'm pretty sure they can handle 14 volts without any issues. But I'm going to go ahead and plug this in now to a regular PC or 3D printer power supply. So plug this in. There you go. Got power again. Turn it on. And yeah, that just blinded me. So let me just bring down that. There we go. And there you have it. So you can adjust this one as well. It gets super bright. So I'm going to go down. We'll just start bringing it up just a little bit. I'm not trying to blind you guys too bad, so I'm just going to bring it up. And that is full brightness right there. And you can hear that the fan came on for my 3D printer's power supply here because it's running a lot of amps through it, but it's because it's super bright. And with that being said, you don't want to run too much amps because of the fact that you can wind up melting the PLA that you're using to print. Now you can use ABS and it probably would work better because it can handle higher temperature, but I would suggest using PLA and just get some epoxy resin. You can coat the inside, make sure that it's not gonna get too hot with the coating, because the coating will melt, well not melt, but the coating will attach itself to the PLA and makes a nice little coating on it to keep it from getting hot. And it even, you can get the stuff that makes it really shiny too, so that will help even more with the reflection of the light. You can see right here that I already have some light reflection going on. We have some aluminum tape in here that I picked up from Walmart that I attached to the inside. And then we have So that helps with the reflection of the light to go forward instead of just sitting inside of here. And then I have some electrical tape in here as well, but you can't really make it out because I had to use it to help so that way the electrical tape, the actual LEDs didn't touch the aluminum tape because of the fact that the aluminum tape can conduct electricity as well and then wind up shorting out your LEDs. So you're going to want to use some electrical tape if you decide to go with this project. But other than that, it's really well made, I feel like, and I am making another version of this, something more compact and smaller. I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek. Here we go. So this is the one I've been working on. Super nice and small, works out really well. It has a little voltage adjuster. This one's a whole lot smaller and can only handle 1 amp basically. But with it, that's only because it doesn't have a heat sink. If you get a heat sink for it, it can handle more. Just gotta make sure that you're not burning out your power supply, your little voltage adjuster here. And this one is going to be very, very well made. I designed and redesigned this one about 6 times, so this definitely has been an improvement over this one a lot more. And I'm going to bring this light a little down because it's kind of blowing me out here. There we go. So yeah, this one I am working on diligently. I will make this one more compact, and you're going to love what I do with this one that I'm making. This isn't the final project. I have one right now printing out. This is just version 2. So with me being on version 6, you can only imagine how many versions I've had. So yeah, this is version 2. And I will have a flip switch for the top here, a barrel jet for the bottom over here, a potentiometer hole, and then I will explain the other holes later on. I don't want to give out too much information here. This is going to be part 2 for the lighting. Hopefully you guys are liking the video. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think about the lights that I'm making here, and if you need to know where I got the lights, I definitely can give you guys a link in the description below. Just comment, because I don't see the point if you guys aren't gonna go look for it or whatever, but I'll add it here for you if you want me to, because I don't know if it's the same seller, because I don't think he had multiple of them, but I can find the same ones that I got and put the link in the description down below there for you. And if you guys needed me to answer any questions or anything like that, definitely let me know in the comments below as well. This is Legit Lee, and thank you for looking at my video today. I am signing out. Oh man.